In addition to a Picot cast on, a very common thing to do is to make a Picot hem. Now I've already started by doing Judy's Magic Cast On. Though any provisional cast on will work, I happen to like Judy's because Judy's Magic Cast On allows you the ability to cast on 20 stitches on your hold and 20 stitches on your needle, or in this case it's 21, but the exact number doesn't matter. What matters is that Judy's Magic Cast On allows you to have a cast on and stitches on hold and stitches to be knit of an equal number, and that makes it so much easier when finishing this cast on. Now I started this cast on and I've started this inch or so of knitting using a size 7 needle. I'm now going to switch to a size 8 needle. Oops, sorry, wind blew something over. Startled me too. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to take the larger needle, I'm going to knit 1, yarn over, and then knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 2 together. You want to have an odd number because, as you saw, I started with a knit 1, and for the rest of the row I'm going to just yarn over and knit 2 together. So if I had an even number, I would not have a 2 together to knit at the end. If you need an even number, you correct it in the first row or along the way. It's very easy to decrease 1 stitch along the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this process of knit 1, knit 2 together. Now, as I said, I did the hem that's not going to be seen in smaller needles with a tighter gauge, and this helps make the hem less visible when you're finishing your garment. It will be immediately visible when you first make the hem, but it will be easier to make the hem invisible as you block your garment if you've done it on a smaller needle. It will be less likely to flip too. So 1 row of yarn over, knit 2 together. I'm going to leave my provisional stitches down at the bottom now, and I'm going to continue, and in this case it's part 1 of this video, so I'm going to continue 1 row, and then I'm going to go off camera and bring it to the point where I'm ready to finish. So this is a very simple little way to make a Picot hem as opposed to a Picot cast on. But since both are valid picots, and I like to give people options and let them choose what they want, knowing how to do a Picot hem is a useful thing. I've done Picot hems on socks, I've done Picot heads on knit blankets, I've done Picot hems on sweaters, I've done hems on various things. So you can choose this as a edge if you don't particularly like doing ribbon. I would absolutely recommend that if you're working in stocking knit after the hem, that you make the hem deeper rather than shallower. A 2-inch hem is much less likely to flip than a 1-inch hem. A 1/2-inch hem, unless you're working in very fine yarn, is almost definitely going to flip. It will not keep your knitting flat. So don't shortchange yourself and do too small of a hem, because you'll be very dissatisfied with the results. It just as in sewing, a deep hem gives a better finish than a shallow hem. But so basically what we're doing is a lot of stockinette. So I'm going to, as I say, stop at the end of this row, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to finish the hem. There are 2 methods of finishing the hem. I'm going to show you what I prefer. I won't say that the preferred, because it's simply what I prefer, because I don't like finishing, and I know a lot of people don't. But there's your beginning of your Picot hem, and it's almost at a point where, if I pull a little slack in the yarn, you can see that it's going to fold very nicely along that line of knit two together decreases, and there is a yarn over there, and so let me finish up the hem, and I'll show you how to join the hem to the body of the knitting.